Okay, we're recording. So
yeah.
hello.
Hello. I'm Darren McCarthy. I'm a senior developer for Unique. I kind of specialize in more back-end systems, but I'm obviously not from New Zealand. That's my special fact.
Okay, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and Dara's joining me for day 2 of the 30 Days of Testability challenge, where we're going to be looking at doing some testing on our application and checking out the log files and seeing what we can see. So I am going to share my screen if I can. Let's let it kick in here. All right, can you see what I'm doing there?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I can.
Okay, and I'm just going to start up. So here at Unique, we make digital humans, and Sophie is one of our digital humans.
What's up, gangster?
That's fine.
That's our standard customer greeting that we have them say.
This is obviously a test setup, which is configured to play a random welcome message, and we just got lucky with that one, I think. So what we're going to do, I think, is just have play some little conversation with her, just some test commands, and then see what we can track down on the logs, see if we can see what she was doing. So we'll just try talking to her for a little bit.
It's probably a good idea to start actually from opening up the network tab. And
I'm not doing so good.
Logging from that point, from the front end point as well.
Actually, it's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's open up our network tab. And
so you're going to step through the conversation start in the console logs here just to help here. Is that?
Yeah. So let's refresh that. And all right, I'm going to fire up Sophie.
So I was more talking about the console rather than network specifically. Yeah. Because we do output logs here. So the way Unique works as an application is we provide customers with an SDK and they implement the SDK into build the digital human into their own experience. So we don't actually offer an end application that they use at the moment. So this is our test application where we've implemented the SDK. So these console logs are coming out are standard, so any customer can get them. So we've tried to build them in a way that'll help a developer implementing it understand what's going on and follow along. So the top header of it's the session ID, which is really useful, especially if you're really useful for us for debugging later and
what I'm going to
generally
do
for customers.
Let's just boost the font size there a bit so it's nice.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Session ID.
Yeah, then you've got your auth token, which is obviously specific to this session and it's locked to this session, so there's no worry having that there now. Your WebSocket configuration, so there's a WebSocket created as part of this application. And then there's the device permissions allowed because the digital human uses a media stream of audio and video going both ways, and that allows us to do stuff like voice detection when someone's talking, if that's turned on, and obviously the audio, so we do STT.
Yeah, right. If I hadn't been, if it wasn't that I use this all the time, if this was my first time loading it, we would have got the pop-up saying, do you want to allow camera permissions, that sort of thing?
Yeah. And then we've got the media stream updates. So these are the media stream coming up. So you can see that the first one, the server hasn't started streaming audio yet or video, and then that's just kind of coming along, and then eventually the whole stream is established. And it's at that point we consider a session having started when both the audio and video is going both ways. So even if you decide to not run an avatar without video, there's still, because we're backed by WebRTC, there's still video going over the stream. It's just not the video from your camera. It's probably blank frames. And then you can see the content message coming out of the welcome message that she spoke there, which is unfortunately wasn't Yo Gangster again.
Yeah.
I thought Ria recognized Rio, but evidently she doesn't recognize us.
Cool. Okay. So, and similarly, if I engage in some conversation with her now, so I say something like, "How are you?"
I'm not doing so good.
So we can see a few things from that. The first is we're not using we're using touch to talk or push to talk here. So you can see the start and stop recording messages. So we do have video detection of speaking, but often for testing, it's easier to just use the push to talk. Especially wouldn't be good in this because James would be talking to me and she'd be picking up that she was talking to him, or he was talking to her. And then you can see the question message. We push that back to the client side just so that a client can event on that or display the screen or whatever they want to do. And then there's the asking question, the response of the actual NLP response coming back there.
Yep. So we've got the question and the answer coming through. Yep. Cool. Maybe let's just try a couple more. What can we do with look to your left? This is also kind of good.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah. It's good that she's actually understanding what I'm saying too.
She's not so good with the Irish accent.
Cool. And maybe
no, I leaked where I'm from. Damn it, I was going to keep it a secret. I just said not from New Zealand.
All right. Raise your eyebrows.
I'm raising my eyebrows.
All right. So we see a bit of animation there. Cool. That's probably enough for that section. So that's,
you want to?
Yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say you want to grab the session ID and then that's where we can start in the logs.
Yes. Cool. All right. So let's fire over to Cloud Watch, where all our logging is done in AWS Cloud Watch. So we can run queries and stuff to find the various things we need. And we want to do...
You haven't selected the log group?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. DKS. Yep. Okay. So back to, I think it makes it easier to read these logs if you change it from app message to log.
Yep.
Because the app message is the full complement, but we just want to really read what the actual text is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes it more readable and more kind of standard what you'd see in the console log here.
Cool.
Okay.
So we can see, and now this is in order with the latest at the top, right?
Mm-hmm. So this is in, yeah. I usually like to order it the opposite way because I'm used to logs starting younger at the top.
Yeah.
But that's
younger at the top.
Yeah. No, sorry. I mean older at the top.
Okay.
Yes. Cool. Sorry.
Cool. Okay, and so here we can see it's created a customer session with the session ID.
Yeah. All the details around that. Creating the needed queues, the WebSocket connection that you can see in the web console logs, and then the request to start the actual avatar once the session's created. That's the sending starting the avatar. So this is the actual call to start up the media stream with the GPU. Is controlled by that start, and that initiates the WebRTC negotiation. So then you can see the response for the got avatar starting. So that's the GPU saying, this one here. That's the GPU coming back saying, hey, it's starting up now.
Yep.
As in, it's picked the GPU that we're gonna spawn this session on. Then the rest are the WebRTC negotiation messages that we pass back and forth between the front end and we proxy them to the GPU.
Yep.
And then you can see if you scroll up to the top there, you've got the media stream messages coming back. Okay, and then the one there is the one I mentioned, which is the media stream fully up, which is when we consider the session up and fully started because both sides of the media stream are fully established.
Cool.
And then when that's done, we play the welcome message. So the SDK will be set up to not try trigger the welcome message until the media stream is fully established.
Yep.
Mainly because we block messages now when they come through. If the media stream's not up, we don't consider the session started, therefore you can't ask it to do stuff.
Cool. Okay, and it tells us it's playing the welcome session. We don't actually see the content of that message though.
No.
Yep. Cool. All right.
Often because the actual content of that is stored in the client side's NLP service anyway. So
right.
we just send them a, hey, here's a welcome message.
Yep.
But as with most content, the content is stored in the NLP side.
Yep. Cool. And then if we sort of look to some other sort of conversation, say avatar text input started down here.
Yeah. So that's going to be start recording the message, which is going to our Speakeasy container, which is our integration with Google Speech to Text.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be starting and stopping the recording of the message. So where are we going? Can we see start, stop? So here you can see just sending the interim transcript. So these are receiving the parts of the transcript from Google Speech to Text. And when we stop recording, we should see, here we go. So after this is done, we receive the question transcript. So we save the session transcript, question transcript, because this persona is configured to save it. So it saves the transcript, saves the session data, saves the avatar response state. So that's we track what state the avatar is in, whether it's like currently speaking or paused, or and that's because we allow unsolicited responses. So we allow customers to send us messages that do not interrupt a solicited response. So they don't interrupt the question being asked, but they might they get queued up behind that. So if there's some sort of eventing or something like that a customer wants to drive, so we have to keep state that the avatar is currently in.
Cool.
So we then we sending CDs, sending question to request AI conversational questions. So these are all just the questions, kind of the state of the question moving around the container. Mixed panel is our
that's our metrics.
That's our behavior metrics. So we're just sending it that hey, questions been asked for this session. And then we should be seeing the logs for this going out to the NLP service, but I'm not seeing them here for some reason.
Well, we're down to the next line of conversation now, aren't we?
Yeah, because we're getting the answer back, so we somehow missed the
return answer text.
So the question going out is somehow not being logged here. I don't know why that is. Can you add to what's coming back? Before log, can you add in the container name? So Kubernetes.container name, I think it is the.
Okay.
And there you guys, scroll back to where we were. Oh yeah, so here we can see. So we can differentiate because it's Watson, because this is a workspace that's obviously using our Watson integration. So here you can see from the Watson conversation ones, these are the logs here that we were looking for. Okay. So sending, response, conversation. Sorry, I'm used to the third-party logs because I look at them more often than the Watson ones. So if you expand that line, the log 88 there, and go look at the actual message that's in there. It's just a bit hard to read the screen down and scroll across for it. Sending.
Yes, I have to use my arrow keys or something. No, maybe we do it this way.
There's probably a log field, which is probably a bit nicer too. Usually down the bottom. There you go, log. Yeah.
Cool.
So this is sending the answer. We must not log the initial request to Watson, probably because we're reliant on the Watson SDK at this point. So we're probably just calling that. With third party, we're a lot noisier because we're actually building up a HTTP request and sending that and tracking what the client says back. I think Watson's a bit of a quieter.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Unless there's some Watson stuff that we're missing, but it doesn't look like there is. So that's actually interesting. Probably something we should look at. The Watson only tells you when it's finished sending. When it's sending it, like basically it's gotten its response already.
Yep.
If that is how I'm interpreting that log.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we can see the conversation answer coming back. And we're going to get a few repeats of that now, yeah?
Yeah. So it's just a round trip. So, question gets recorded with Speakeasy and sent to, it gets recorded with the Avatar stream, sent to Speakeasy, streamed to Speakeasy, which talks to Google Speech to Text. The response to that is then passed to Eve API to save the details of it, which then passes it to our conversation service, which in this case is Watson. That talks to the NLP service, puts the answer back in the queue, which was the Eve API, and Eve API passes it on to the client, as we saw, and then also it goes on the queue for the avatar as well, for the avatar to actually speak it. So any answer goes to both. Obviously, the avatar needs to receive it, the GPU layer, because it needs to actually speak. Usually, the human needs to respond. But then it also goes back to the client for them to event on it or do whatever they want to do.
Great. Cool. Okay, and that line 236 sort of must be the bottom of it, where we get an end to.
Yeah.
What does that say? Call to end already
ended session. Yeah, so that's possible that two different services have decided the session was idle. Two of them have tried it to end it. We just have logic to make sure that you can't end something that's already ended.
Yep. Cool.
So there's probably an ended above that somewhere. The legitimate one. Yeah, so it's been triggered here somewhere. So if you just scroll up a bit more, there'll be the session session monitor there. See the session monitor? That'll be the one that will triggered it. And session timeout.
Actually, yeah, because we didn't end the session, did we? We just left it running.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what timed out for. Was it? It's probably not. Has it been half an hour since we started that session?
Or maybe just.
Yeah, it might be do that, or it might be the WebSocket closed, or one of the above.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. If it's been half an hour, this is a long sort of recording.
Okay.
That's good. So that's how we do it. That's how we spin up a conversation and then see what's happening in the logs. There's heaps of stuff in there. I think the important bits are filtering by log, and that container name is the sort of key to where those logs are.
Yeah. But we try with all of our logs to put in the session ID because it makes filtering like this possible. We also put in tenant ID and also this the persona that the actual tenant is running as well. That allows to filter.
Other than Sophie.
Yeah. Just allows us to basically track down issues, either a customer or a staff or whatever, or reports if we're trying to pull out the information. It allows us to quicker assess what's going on based on that information.
Yep. Great. Cool. All right. I'm going to stop screen sharing there if I can. And what I'll do now is I'll go and edit this and make it, consumable for the general public.
You're still recording?
I am still recording, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no secrets here. People want to know.
Yeah. No, I was just making sure.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right. That's great. Thank you, Dara, for your time.
No problem.
I appreciate you showing me through that, and we might get you on again later on in the project, maybe.
Yeah, happy to help.
If you don't feel burned by this experience. Cool. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for day 3. Peace out. Stop recording.